What is going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's Pardon the Disruption, where we're not starting on time, even though we were all on time today. So, we got that going for us. Today's show is going to be great. I am your host, Matthew Potter, short sale guy, hedge fund connection, co-founder of the Family Tree at Real Brokerage. Hit me up if I can help you grow your business. For those that are just tuning in for the first time, we welcome you. Way we do things around here, 5 questions. Everybody gets 1 minute to go ahead and give their best answer and then chop it up for 2 minutes after that, and points will be awarded. Today, we're running on a skeleton crew. I do not have a buzzer, so everybody's just going to have to time themselves. We're going to go ahead and start off with last week's winner with his semi-annual win, Mr. Disruptor himself, Steve Trang. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's going on, everybody? Steve Trang, closemoresales.com. I'm trying to be my best version of you guys. So like Leon, I haven't shaved. This is the last show. And you can see it's getting in there real lush, right? So I'm going full beard for more success to get my repeat. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Best of luck on that, Steve. Christmas wishes on that. All right. Next up, coming to us from Richmond, VA, we have CJ, Chris Jefferson. Introduce yourself.
Man, Chris Jefferson, Richmond, VA. I'm excited for the bearding that's happening. Leon and Steve. Shout out to light skin Steve. I just love seeing the development of beards over time on these gentlemen. This will be great. We'll get some of that minoxidil or whatever it's called. We'll send it around for Christmas. RJ, good to see you, man. I couldn't wait to see RJ today. I just couldn't. It's good to see RJ. Give him shit all day. Potter, Leon, Steve, what's up, man? Excited to see everybody. Let's rock.
Let's roll. All right. Next up, third best beard on the show. We have RJ Bates from Dallas Fort Worth. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
That was just disrespectful. RJ Bates, Fort Worth, Texas, Titanium Investments. Want to give a quick shout out to CJ, man. Loving all this organic content you're putting out.
There it is.
It's top notch. Appreciate you hopping on the bandwagon there. Also, on the note of CJ, we got to talk about his boy, John Morant. He's not a question.
John Wick. Let's go.
Hey, man. Shout out to John for coming back, hitting the game winner. And in the post-game interview, not waving a gun around. Shout out to you, man. Good job, man. You really learned your lesson. And then last thing is I guess last week, I said shout out too many times. Someone actually went into my DMs and said, hey, bro, you're not the shout out guy. That's CJ. So shout out to the shout out guy.
Oh, that's outstanding. All right. Last, certainly not least, returning this week, we have freshly bearded Leon G. Barnes. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What up? You probably don't recognize me. It's been since the last show that I shaved. The G in Leon G. Barnes stands for growth. You haven't had a lot in my life on my face, so we're trying a new experiment. PTD has made me better. And like Jalen Rose, I'm going to give the people what they want. So we're going to see. We're going to do a little test here, see how we roll in the future. A little gray in there and making me look distinguished. Hopefully, I don't look like a 17-year-old boy when this experiment is over, but we shall see. Excited to be back, and sorry I missed last week, fellas. Let's go.
Hopefully Medley doesn't look at that and is like, I don't know if you're still a good fit for CG with this beard.
Well, you know me, I love me the money. So if it means I got to shave it off, it's got to go.
Oh, man. We're definitely going to have a great show today. We're going to get into it with question number 1. If you were to start real estate in 2024, what would you do? Start us off, Steve.
So I think the very first thing you got to do is you got to binge watch every episode of Pardon the Disruption, right? You got to get some really good quality information from some of the industry leaders that are actually doing the business, right? So I think that's the first thing. Well-vetted experts. And then number 2, I would take a good long look at yourself and figure out what it is that's important to you. We talk a lot about this in Certainty Talks. Is just figuring out what do you want, what are your skills, what's your superpowers, and then building a business around that. Oftentimes we look up and we see what everyone's doing, and we try to build a business that's not in alignment with our strengths and our superpowers. So I'd do some introspection, figure out what you're good at, and then once you figure that out, find someone that whose business looks like what you want to have, and do whatever you can to be in their circle, be in their environment.
There we go. And we appreciate you being under 1 minute today. I didn't have to interrupt you rudely or otherwise. All right, next up, CJ, what about you?
Starting real estate 2024, I think you should focus on direct-to-seller marketing. I think you should be utilizing with that wholesaling to cash buyers, novations to retail, and creating seller finance opportunities, and then sending the subject to ones over to RJ because he's got a bunch of money. That's what I would be focused on. Get your cash up. All right. Get some money in your pocket. All right. And then you can worry about doing all after that.
There you go. All right. What about you, RJ? If you're starting at 24, what are you doing?
So I feel like this question was written where we're supposed to give an infomercial for ourselves. It says, if you were to start, so it's asking me, so I'm going to go watch myself. Hey, I want to do the exact same thing I'm doing, virtual wholesaling. So I'm going to go join the Vault, my Facebook group. I'm going to go watch the video I just did on Tuesday, how to virtually wholesale in 2024. And then I'm going to watch the next video, how to close the deal using $0. And I'm going to replicate that. Then I'm going to watch Cassie's live on how to comp a property in less than 4 minutes. And I'm just going to replicate that over and over and over again, because that's what I want to do. So the way the question was written, how would I start? I would just replicate what I'm already doing.
And the award for literal Larry of the panelists goes to RJ, clearly. All right, Leon. Well, what?
He turned marketer, man. Look at this guy.
It's organic too. All right, Leon. What about you? Starting in 24, what are you doing?
Well, first, I was at a complete loss on what to send RJ for Christmas, and now I know it's a shoulder sling. All that patting of himself on the back, pull that shoulder out. So we're gonna have to get him a shoulder sling. I'll get that in the mail to you today, my friend. I'm sure you can get those on Amazon. I would say that I know a lot of investors that have been in this business for 3-4 years that are now hitting that level of going, okay, now I got to figure out, what I want my business to be and what's important to me at this point. But I think the kumbaya of figuring out all the things that how I want to grow a business to my own liking and to me working 10 less hours or whatever, I think that's all, fantasy land until you get your money right, like Chris talked about. Wholesaling is the number one way to do that. And if you're going to go about growing your income for wholesaling, you have to go and find buyers and find people that are willing to sell homes. So I'm focusing on finding sellers and finding people that want to buy those houses.
Am I the only one that had an
echo there? I think it's
No,
CJ's
that's why-
TV or somebody's TV.
Yeah, I struggled through that because I could hear 8 of me.
That's crazy. My audio sounds great.
Of course it does.
Yeah, it's got to be CJ. He's the only one not echoing.
That's on time, CJ audio.
CJ, while you're fixing your audio, you're the only one that can talk right now. You have to give an intelligent answer right now.
No, my answer was intelligent, right? Like, now's the perfect time. The market is still operating. Go out and get some cash and make something happen. Wholesale through novations. Do seller finance. If you do seller finance right now, it doesn't create a lot of risk. It's no PGs in seller financing unless it's requested. Right? Get out here and make some stuff happen and make some money.
So yeah, the echo's still there.
You got to figure that out, CJ.
Starting in 2024, you think it's okay for people to go out and do direct-to-seller marketing and wholesale and novate and do seller finance? I mean, dude, that's a lot to take on. I disagree with trying to learn that many different exit strategies in like year one.
Yeah, I think creative is one of those things that if you start off with creative, I think you can really get overwhelmed and get into some trouble starting off. If creative was the only thing you were doing, maybe, but then the greatest challenge, right? And you said this yourself, CJ, like the number one most valuable skill is finding motivated sellers and convincing them to sell them to you, sell their house to you, right? I think the direct to seller, I think, is spot on. The creative, I think some people get a lot of trouble if they're brand new.
Hey, Potter.
Yeah.
Am I still echoing?
I don't hear an echo. Anybody else?
You're good now.
You want to watch me win this round, Potter?
Yeah, let me see what you got.
Cool. So look, it's simple, right? I think in a normal world, what y'all are saying makes sense, but like this is why I teach the hands-off process, right? So look, if I'm focused on direct-to-seller marketing, and let's say I'm starting out, it's 2024, I learned how to wholesale, learn how to just get on the phone and secure somebody who's interested in selling their property. Here's something I can guarantee you as a fact. RJ, do you know how to seller finance?
Yes.
If I called you with a lead that was interested in seller finance and I had no clue what to do because I just got started, and I said, hey, RJ, I'm smart enough to know that you're willing to pay me for a lead that costs you nothing to acquire. If I send this over to you, are you willing to pay me some money as a result of this JV? Yes or no?
Yes.
100%. Steve, if I hit you up and I said, hey, man, I got this deal. I don't know what to tell them. They're interested in selling their property. Here's the number they said. I've done enough to know. I watched Cassie's comp video. All right. I know enough to know that this is a good deal. I need to do something with this, man. I want to do an ovation. I heard about this installment method in one of your real estate disruptor videos. If I sent you over this lead, do you think you and I could work something out where you pay me a little bit and I'll send this lead over to you? Steve, tell me what you're going to say.
100%.
That's what I thought. Leon, if I hit you up and I said, hey, I got this deal. I don't know what to do, man. You know this guy, Eric Brewer. You talk about him a lot when you're on this podcast. I think you guys are really good friends. I got a lead. I don't know what to tell him, but I told him that I could give him a white glove experience and something I saw Eric saying on one of his clips on his page because he posts all the time. Do you think if you connected me with Eric Brewer, do you think he'd JV with me on this deal if I handed it off to him and he did the rest of the work? He could just pay me a little bit of money for bringing it to him? Leon, tell me what Eric's going to tell me.
Sure, he might bust you up a little bit, but of course he's going to listen.
Potter, wrap this question up, baby.
CJ.
No, but here's the thing, though. That's the first thing, the direct to seller, and I agree with the direct to seller.
Yeah.
It was all the other things afterwards. You're going to
But I just showed you how you could do all the other things.
Bro, you gave two different answers.
Here you go, Potter.
Number one was
Here you go.
you were saying, hey, they need to go out and do novation. They need to do seller finance. What you're essentially saying is they need to wholesale a property on seller finance.
I mean, wholesale is bird dog.
Well, yeah, you're actually
right.
saying
I mean, CJ's first answer was like, look, you need a master's degree in real estate.
Let's
but
not be
before that,
facetious.
before the master's degree in real estate, you need to learn how
listen,
to do direct to seller marketing.
If I call Potter and JV with him on a short sale, me and him did a short sale. That's what happened, right? If I call you, RJ, and me and you JV a virtual lead somewhere, we just virtually did a deal together, bro. All right. If I call Eric Brewer, and we virtually do
it is short sale. You should learn how to short sell in 2024. I think is the last thing CJ forgot.
I would also add, let's try to make this as easy as possible for everyone out there. I mean, the baby steps, right? So the 0 to 1 implementation is some of what Steve said is, someone in your backyard that is doing what you want to do, right? Let's make this easy for everyone. You need to make sure that you are reaching out and networking with all of those individuals. And some of them, like an Eric Brewer is a great example, will go to lunch with you or go to breakfast with you. That's something you should have already done if you're planning on starting in 2024. But it's amazing how much in this game, how we share. I don't know many other industries that share as much as we're willing to share in real estate. So don't underestimate the power of reaching out and becoming friends with those that know how to do the business at a very high level. Don't underestimate that 0 to 1 step.
And shout out to CJ for not doing shameless self-promotion like someone else in the room.
Oh, okay. First of all, the shameless self-promotion of this is apparently CJ is now competing with Key Glee franchises where he says all you can do is JV everything. You don't even have to lock it up, just bird dog.
Shout out to Keegley.
Great round there. One thing to point out though, in CJ's original answer, RJ, he did say to go ahead and send those seller finance deals to you because you got deep pockets over there in DFW.
Sub 2, not seller finance.
All right. Either or. All
It
right.
made it to my
There
goes that master's degree.
I'm gonna say this. This was a great round. I think everybody had a great answer, with the exception of RJ, who just promoted, himself. Shout out to CJ on breaking it down on the Bird Dog special here. We're gonna go ahead and give him the point. You better put your arms down, Steve. You better put them down right now. Right now.
Master's degree in bird dogging. That's the one he gave the point.
Master's degree in best use of time. That's what it comes down to, my friend. It's just like you, Steve. Your relationship with me. It's a master's use of best time. It is. All right. Next up, question number 2. What is the biggest lesson you learned this year? Start us off, CJ.
Man, I've learned a lot of tough lessons this year. I think the biggest lesson I've learned this year, though, I would say how critical data analysis skills are to business. I think we operate, especially in the social media era, you got people like RJ doing content just all day, every day, And I think it's very, very easy to copy and paste, or think everything is just to hit copy and paste. And I think like the most important skill you could have as a business person, like an important lesson I've learned this year, it's one that I've talked about a lot this year too, is you got to be able to not just to copy and paste. I think it's really just to take information, be able to take a step back and use data analysis to determine the best way to use that for you. Kind of like JVing on deals and understanding how money can compound itself. And instead of doing one deal at a time, if you do 5 deals at a time, you actually can make more money than everybody else. Potter, there you go. How about that?
I love it. I love it. It's you can make a lot of money by making a little bit less per deal. You can. I do understand that. All right, RJ, what are your thoughts? What was the biggest lesson you learned this year? Go ahead and give it to us.
I think it just happened. I mean, Merry Christmas to CJ. I mean, apparently it's just, you just have to bird dog. That's amazing. What would you do to get into real estate? Just bird dog everything. Merry Christmas, CJ. Merry Christmas to light skinned Steve too. The biggest lesson that I learned this year is make sure that the people that you have surrounded yourself with are the right people. And I know it sounds simple, and sometimes you just don't realize that they're who the right people are. Like, seriously sit down and analyze, are these people adding value to my life? Do I want to add value to their life? And if either one of those is no, then you're not surrounded by the right people. And I thought in late 2022 that I had surrounded myself in a bubble that I was well protected, insulated in, and it was, hey, this is where we're moving forward into the future. And now looking back 12 months later, holy cow, one little thing goes wrong, and wow, the chickens ran. I mean, as soon as the whole thing went down with the TV show, it was amazing to see how many people ran away from my life, from Titanium Investments, from Cassie, from everyone involved. And then seeing the flock of people that came in and just the level of which we have grown as an organization because of that. Make sure you're surrounded by the right people.
There we go. Deep thoughts with RJ. I like that one. All right. Digging bearded Leon, by the way.
You like it?
Yeah, I'm digging it. All right, Leon. What you got for us? What was biggest lesson for you this year?
I don't blame you. I like it myself. All I could think about when RJ was talking is I kept looking around the room here like, man, should I be evaluating this room that I'm surrounded with? My goodness, RJ got me deep thoughts for sure. I know this is going to sound like a lesson that I should have learned in 22, but if you remember, in 22, interest rates were still good up until about midway through the year. I was still getting refis for BRRRRs in the 5s just before the summer of 22. And if I look back at anything I could have done better, it boiled down to this year, because interest rates have continued to stay high and burrs have gotten a lot tougher to make the numbers pencil. So for me, it's, we've talked about this before, taking what the defense or the market, in this particular analogy, take what the market allows. And I should have refied everything, quite frankly. I don't know that we'll see interest rates at a commercial level for burr strategy in the threes ever again. And for sure, not anytime soon. I do think we'll see some relief. But man, when the market is like that and it's giving you, 2s and 3s in interest rates, I seriously, this full year, I felt it more so than I felt it in 22. And it's the biggest lesson for me this year.
There we go. That's a great point right there, Leon. That is. All right, Steve, what about you? Biggest lesson of 23?
So there was a guy that spoke at Collective Genius, Matthew Pollard, a sales trainer, actually. And I was actually kind of concerned. I reached out to my friends at CG, like, should I update my resume? Like, is there anything I should know here, right? But what he spoke on stage was the power of a unifying message. So that seed was planted. And then later this year, we've really honed in on Close More Sales. That's why we bought closemoresales.com. And having a clear unifying message, like, what is the service we offer? And the service we offer is we help you close more sales. And it's amazing to see the people that message has resonated with. People messaging me is like, hey, how can you help me close more sales? Whereas before it was, I'm the podcast guy. We do sales disruptors. Like, what is sales disruptors exactly? But like, close more sales, having a unifying message has really resonated with people. And I've seen it in our annual meeting that we held this week. Like, everyone is aligned in our goals for 2024. So the biggest lesson, which should have been obvious many, many years before, was the power of a unifying message.
Yeah, and on Steve's note, I mean, that's a great point, Steve. I also, due to everything that went on my side of things with the change of people in my life, we also rebranded and unified our message. And it's so funny, man. I never would have thought that with the change in our messaging and the change of a brand and the change of a name, suddenly things just kind of exploded, where now people are flocking to us to learn about virtual wholesaling, where it was like, internally, I thought the message we had always been giving would have made that happen, but it wasn't. And I was so stubborn, I didn't look at it. That was the message I was giving myself, not the message I was giving to the masses. So great point there, Steve.
Yeah, and I would say this is 100% CJ's fault, because he's figured out messaging and he didn't share that with us.
Yeah,
Steve, I think that's I'm glad to
shout
hear
out
you
to
say
Hands Off
that.
Wholesaling, man.
Steve and I have had this conversation quite often, because I think that there's a really good book that another former keynote speaker at CG referenced when he finished it. Dr. Benjamin Hardy wrote a book called 10X is why 2X 10X is easier than 2X. And I was reading that recently, and what you have accomplished there by establishing, the focus of the industry of your business, is that you've gone beyond just real estate. There's so many things that you can now 10X your business, because you're not just focused on sales training for real estate investors. There's so much opening opportunity. There's a lot of lessons to be learned for everyone. And I think everybody on this call has a well-branded business. Everyone that's on this podcast does. So Steve, that is just a rocket ship for you and your sales training. I know I usually bust your whatever's here a lot, but there's opportunity.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna say real quick, Steve, somebody smart told you that a year ago. Real quick though.
You did, actually. You did.
Real quick. Somebody smart. But if you're running a business, to Steve's point, to RJ's point, like, your business should have a mechanism in which it functions, right? Like, you should have a primary mechanism, a foundational mechanism. A lot of people get into, and this is what I mean by like copy and paste. We're in this society right now professionally where like people are trying to copy and paste any and everything that they see. Like, if you want to virtually wholesale, like what RJ's doubling down on and what he's talking about primarily, like, that's a mechanism for his business. It's a foundational mechanism. RJ's much more than a virtual wholesaler, right? Steve's much more than a closer, a salesperson, right? But it's a foundational mechanism to their businesses that drives revenue in the door that they become experts in so that you can hand deals off to other people who are experts, like giving a handoff deal to somebody like RJ Bates or Steve Trang or Leon G. Barnes, right? Potter, you see how I did that, right?
Yeah,
but
I see that.
In all seriousness, have a mechanism to your business that can take you very far.
All right. So I don't know if it's the questions, if it's, the Christmas season, or just everybody collectively decided to step their game up, but that might have been one of the best rounds we've ever had on PTD. So I'm gonna hook everybody up on that round because those were great answers across the board and good discussion. So
Merry Christmas.
There you go. Merry Christmas. That's what we like to hear.
I'm the one on the show that wants to give everybody a trophy. Huh? It's just me. It's just me.
All right.
Okay.
Hey guys, let's take Leon's point away from that one. All right. Next up, what are your reactions to this illegal hit by DeMonte Kazee to Michael Pittman?
Survey for Pittman. Oh, look out. There's flags all over the place with the hit by Kazee.
The results of the play is an incomplete pass, total foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 23. A 15-yard penalty will be enforced to the previous spot, automatic first down.
Yo, that's painful right there. All right, let's see. Go ahead and start us off, Chris Kringle. That's RJ Bates, by the way, with his Merry Christmas over there. Go ahead and start us off on this one, RJ.
I think Gardner Minshew should learn how to play quarterback. That's what I think. I mean, listen, the wide receiver did his job. The defensive back did his job. I don't think it's an illegal hit. And many people don't think it's an illegal hit. The NFL reacts by suspending this kid for the rest of the season. I think it's terrible. If anyone should be suspended, it should be Minshew for sucking as bad as he does. I mean, he throws it out there. I mean, listen, coaches talk about this in like junior high. Like, hey, don't throw the ball in the traffic and get your wide receiver killed. In this case, I mean, shout out to Michael Pittman. I mean, he got up, walked off to the sideline. I mean, he was okay after the hit, and we're all glad to see that. But I don't think that there should have been a penalty on this. I don't think that was an illegal hit. By all definitions, it wasn't, and I think the NFL overreacted on this.
There we go. All right, Leon, what are your thoughts on this hit?
So I think it's very unfortunate because you never want to see anyone get hurt. And the Players Association, they are a family. They don't want to see anyone get carted off the field or get hurt, especially lose their career. But in most sports, defenders are unfortunately set up to fail. And in order to be great, like NFL defenders are, you don't get there without being great, right? There's only a certain percentage of the population that's ever played professional football before. You can't do anything half speed. You go into the game and you play half speed as a defender, and you're trying to pull up on things. That's when you get hurt. And so it's unfortunate. It's pretty much a bang bang play, and it's set up for him to fail. So I think it's unfortunate. But it's the way the game has been set up now that type of play 20, 30 years ago would have been legal. I understand they're trying to make it safer, but it's just really hard to do for a defender to play half speed to be great.
There we go. That's very true. That's very true. All right, Steve, what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's the right call. I think the NFL's doing the right thing. I don't think they went far enough. So, like when I was in college, right, in my 20s, we used to play Thanksgiving. We used to play Turkey Bowl, right? Just Thursday mornings, right? Thanksgiving morning, we play in our 20s, and like we tackle each other. And what happened on Friday? It hurt like hell, right? In our 20s, it hurt like hell, but we did it because we were men. And sometime in the early to mid 30s, we we're like, hey, you know what? We should stop doing this because we're too old for this crap. Let's start playing with flag football. Let's start playing with flags, right? And then we got too slow. We started playing two-hand touch, right? And I think that's what the NFL should do. I think, like, to protect the players, make sure no one ever gets hurt again, we should do not flag football, because flag football you can also hurt your hand, right, when you miss and hit the hip. So I think we should just move to two-hand touch in NFL. I think that's the direction we should go for player safety.
You're muted.
You're muted, RJ.
I was saying, is this 420 Steve coming back?
A little bit. This is undefeated Steve with just saying that there needs to be more regulation for everything. Like,
we need more safety. God forbid someone gets hurt in a sport where we hit each other.
We really need to have a boxing question coming up soon. All right, CJ, what are your thoughts on this hit?
I think it's unfortunate. It's football. I mean, I think at this point, if you're signing up to play football, signing your kids up to play football, I mean, you know what you're getting yourself into, man. It's a brutal sport. Every game, somebody's getting hurt. You had, I think, 2 7-6 teams. It's second quarter. I think the Colts were still playing for a possible playoff opportunity. Why would he throw that ball? I mean, you got 3 defenders. You're trying to squeeze the pill in to a wide receiver who's obviously going to get blasted if he catches this ball. I mean, there's no way, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like RJ said, it's grade school ball, or in Steve Trang's football life story, this is Turkey Day football. I mean, this is like playing 5,000 when you're growing up with Steve. You don't want to topple him over. You don't throw this ball. I think it's really unfortunate, man. I mean, I'm glad Pittman was able to get up and walk off, like RJ said. I don't think this kid should have got suspended. At most a penalty flag, but I mean, suspended for a season. I think he's suspended without pay. I think is that right?
Yep.
I mean, I think that's pretty messed up, man.
So here's what I worry about, right? So we go to Collective Genius or play basketball, right? And the thing is that I worry about is like crossing Leon over so badly where he hurts his ankle and I'm no longer allowed to be at the event. Like, I don't want anyone to get hurt ever, right? So I think we should all be concerned about player safety.
Well, first of all, you don't have to worry about crossing anybody up with that foot speed. That's first. Second, there was an article in Sports Illustrated probably 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. And this was actually when Sports Illustrated actually published a magazine on a weekly basis for the young people out there. That was a glossy publication that came to your house once a week. And this particular article talked about the NFL potentially, and this was before CTE was a major deal, but it talked about that the way that boxing had declined because of the brutality, the way that gladiators, obviously way back in Roman times, continued to be something that society rejected. And it talked about how potentially the NFL would go the same way in the future. And I think the bigger question here is what we're seeing with protection of players. Are we going to continue to see a decline, even though it's the most popular sport in America? And I love watching it, but the product has definitely changed. And parents like myself, I don't think that I would allow my sons to play football. They play flag. But it's not a sport I want them playing. Do we continue to see, the bigger question is, do we continue to see a decline over the next 20, 30 years because of things like this, the change in the game where it's protecting more versus just playing the game?
Dude,
and Leon and I have had private conversations about this actually, where he's like, hey, maybe we should take it easier on RJ this week because like we're really going at him pretty hard and we don't want to hurt his feelings either.
Oh,
right?
That's never happened, Steve. But to Leon's point, the NFL product is trash. I mean, it really is, and it is because of moments like this right here. Because now what's going to happen is next week, that defensive back in that exact same play is going to say, I'm not going to miss out on my last 4 or 5 paychecks to make that play. So I'm going to let Michael Pittman make that catch and then even potentially get up and run for more yardage. And we're going to be sitting there as fans going, what are you doing? What is my defensive back? Why is he letting up 7 yards away from the play?
Do you remember there was one play? It was Steve McNair. And I don't know, it was the guy that blew off his fingers or was a different defensive end or Strahan maybe, where he had McNair practically sacked, but he didn't want to land on him, so he let off a little bit.
Yes.
And then McNair gets up and makes a great play. That's what's going to happen every time you make these rules to protect players a little more.
I think the NFL is on the same trajectory as the NBA.
Yep.
Where it's going to become an offense-heavy league. I mean, it's already happening, really, right? Like, you're going to see more high-scoring games. I mean, just look at the scores from this year, right? You're going to see more high-scoring games. You're going to see way less defense. And I don't think it's going to kill the NFL product like you guys are saying, though. I think it's going to enhance it and make it better, not for people like us, right? I'm 37, right? Like this, is that middle age yet, RJ? Like, like I'm at that age, right, where like we still can cling on and still like old school football and stuff like that. But what's going to continue to happen is it's going to become more offense heavy. It's going to become more high score heavy. It's going to become more highlight heavy. I mean, you don't see a lot of highlight plays on defense, right? It's going to become more highlight heavy. It's going to enhance the entertainment of the product, and they're going to keep growing and getting bigger. But it sucks for players on defense.
The only thing I would say is just keep an eye over the next 20 years on how many kids are playing football, and is there a decline in it? Are you seeing more of, the best athletes going to basketball or soccer or baseball? Are you starting to see an uptick in other sports?
Pickleball.
If that's the case, then there's
But Leon, I think it's costly though.
To
like
whom?
If you play baseball, costly. If you play hockey, costly, right? Like football is not an expensive sport to get your kid into. And that's why you see a lot of kids coming from disenfranchised communities, minority communities, that are able to get into football, and that's why they play it.
Well, I would argue that basketball, you don't have to have anything to play basketball. You don't have to have much to play soccer. So I'm with you, but I do think that that's the thing that you have to keep an eye on is if because the NFL is as popular as anything we've ever seen in America right now. It's at its height. But I do see a trajectory of the NBA continuing, especially for young kids with guys like Steph Curry, that every kid loves Steph Curry. You can't find a youth-size Steph Curry jersey on NBA.com. Trust me, I've looked. Just there's a trajectory there that I see that the NBA is starting to get a little bit more attention than it has in the past.
That's good news for RJ though, because now RJ can play linebacker in the NFL too.
To CJ's point though, about football being an affordable sport, it is, and it's also more likely that if you're a part of the team, you're going to see playing time than you are as a basketball player. Right?
You can only you have more numbers.
Right.
Yeah,
there's more numbers. And I saw a stat the other day. Jason Sehorn was the last white defensive back to start in the NFL, and that was 21 years ago. So to CJ's point, when we talk about a lot of this disenfranchised, the minorities, and dude, that's an insane stat because there's no way it's possible that there hasn't been a white person athletic enough to be a starting defensive back in the NFL. So there's a reason why, and I think it goes back to Leon's point where I do think a lot of families are making the decision. Listen, myself included, my son is 11. He's played one season of flag football. I played football my whole life. I love football. I wanted to be a football coach. But he's probably not ever going to play tackle football. And that's partially due to the dangers of playing the sport.
There you go. A couple things. Let's go ahead and get a GoFundMe going to get RJ Bates to be a DB in the NFL. Watch him just absolutely get torched on Sundays. That would be amazing. I love everybody's input on this. Just based strictly off zingers, Leon's getting the point on this for absolutely obliterating Steve with the "you will never cross me over." So I'm gonna go ahead and give that one to Leon because that was amazing. I need the new board where I can do in answer points. But yeah, that was great, Leon. We appreciate that. If you guys have been enjoying this episode, which we hope you have, we wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor, Pat Hilton and Acoustic Force, for sponsoring today's episode. Go ahead and check this out.
The world is changing. So is the world of business. It's never been easier to get your message out to the entire planet. Let me help you crack the code today. My name is Pat Hilton. My social media agency can produce you the same custom digital content that landed me on stage at the biggest business events in the world. I've rocked the roof off with the best digital marketers in the game. Getting social media content filmed and produced for your business is now as easy as ordering a cup of coffee and hopping on a video call with your friend. We find trending topics in your niche, coach you through recording in the comfort of your home or office, create engaging clips and graphics, then upload them online and manage all your social media pages. Bring your brand to life. Contact Acoustic Force Media today.
Shout out to Acoustic Force. We appreciate it. All right. Question number 4, where there are no wrong answers, only better answers. All right. What is your number 1 Christmas movie? Start us off, Leon.
There are no wrong answers, only the best answer, which is Christmas Vacation, hands down. It's the first movie that me and the family watch right after Thanksgiving. Easy, hands down, number 1, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, followed closely by Elf.
There we go. We got 1 vote for National Lampoons. It's becoming more and more relevant as we get older. I think we can all feel that in our hearts. All right, Steve, what about you? Number 1 Christmas movie.
My gut instinct. Well, first of all, I think I'm offended that you would assume my religion and talk about Christmas. So I just want to put that out there. So I guess number 1, I probably had Die Hard there, but I've noticed the last 2 years, we've been watching Elf as a family. So I guess right now it's Elf. We will see if we continue the tradition again this year.
I'm like 300% sure that Steve participates in Elf on the Shelf. I'm sure of it, just based off that answer.
Yeah.
All right,
Full of
CJ.
Christmas cheer in the household.
There we go. Gotta let that pesky guy do his thing. All right, CJ, what are your thoughts? Number 1 Christmas movie. Let's go.
I mean, come on, man. Classic, A Christmas Story, man. I mean, it's the best. It's the best Christmas movie that exists, man. I mean, this guy just said, he said Die Hard because I guess Bruce Willis had on a Santa Claus hat in one scene. Like Christmas Story by far. If you're roasting chestnuts by the fire,
oh my gosh!
If you're like RJ Bass guzzling eggnog, right? I mean, come on, man. A Christmas Story is where you gotta be.
You can tell CJ has never watched a Christmas movie in his life. Just by the
Come on. I can't believe you guys don't like A Christmas Story. What is going on here?
Come December 2nd, you are not watching A Christmas Story. You are lying for your teeth right now. You don't watch A Christmas Story.
Listen, you said National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation. Bro. It's funny. Christmas Story is so old. You don't watch
Christmas
that.
Story is a heart-touching.
Can I have my turn before we
go?
Hold
on. No, Cousin Eddie, you cannot have a turn.
Yo, he just dropped a Cousin Eddie on RJ.
See? Leon's ruining my answer. I was about to drop the Cousin Eddie line. Damn it.
Beat you to it.
Okay. So here's the deal. A Christmas Story is trash. So that's just thrown out. Yeah.
Bro, what is going on right now, man?
What is Steve's answer? We don't even know. Okay.
Dude said Die Hard. I don't even know which one he's talking about.
I know Die Hard or Elf. Which one? Both suck.
It was Die Hard Elf.
Okay. A Christmas Vacation, really good movie. Here's the reason why it's not number 1, though. Okay, Leon, this is where I'm going to get you. The young kids can't watch it. Okay. There's a little bit of too much adult humor going on there. You don't want to. Is it
made by Disney?
Huh? Don't bring up Mickey Mouse on Christmas like that to me, CJ. I have to kick you out of my bubble. Number 1 Christmas movie, Home Alone. Okay. Listen, everybody watches Home Alone, and it really brings back the importance of family during Christmas time. You see it, and everyone can watch it. Everyone laughs. It's the number one Christmas movie, Home Alone.
So it is a good Christmas movie for sure. But if you're going to watch Christmas Vacation, you can watch it with kids if you watch the edited version. So there's just a caveat there.
There's an edited version?
Well, on the
I'm not
TBSs
surprised
of
that
the
Leon watches
world
the
and-
edited version of anything. Leon probably watches. Leon's the one that downloads the clean version of every rap album, right?
Yeah.
Well,
No, that's definitely Leon, bro. That's definitely Leon.
Hey, we don't curse in our household. I know, Steve, that you have NWA playing in your car with your little girls, but you know we don't curse in my household.
No, it's not NWA. It's Eazy-E, right? So look, I was sharing this story with Leon. So we were listening to Real Whatever G's, right, in the car, and Amelia's like, "Hey, what's this about?" I was like, "Well, there were these friends, and they got into business together, and the business didn't work out, and so they're sharing their feelings about how they felt about the business not working out together."
I mean, hold on a second. Like, you said Home Alone, right?
Yeah.
Classic, for sure. But it's such a criminal oriented story. I just can't believe in this moment that I'm the most wholesome. I mean, I felt it before, but the fact that I thought Leon was the most wholesome person on the show, but now I know that Leon, he's in the basement at the house. He's watching the explicit, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where everybody's upstairs making cookies for Santa. I guess I'm the only one, man, roasting chestnuts.
Man, you ain't doing none of that.
I'm with you.
You ain't doing none of that.
I spend some time around Leon after a couple of drinks, and he turns into Cousin Eddie. I will.
I already know, dude. I know it. I know it.
We all know that.
And I am from Kansas, so maybe that you got something there.
Potter's about to give this point to Leon just because of the Cousin Eddie line, because he is actually the Cousin Eddie in his family. We all know.
Who? Me or Leon?
Hey,
You, Potter, you.
Bro, you better tread lightly. I will show up at your doorstep in my RV.
so I don't have an RV, but I do have a blue leisure suit, and I do have plates from Kansas. So I've got 2 of the 3 from Cousin Eddie on that. But by the way, CJ, come on, man. You're not if Christmas Story, which they repeat on one of those.
It's amazing.
But you know why they do that? Because nobody watches the damn thing, including you. You just might have it on the background, but you have no clue what that story. Other than that,
young Ralphie, everything that young Ralphie went through, man.
Bro.
Oh man. Hey,
His
shout out to Leon.
His life was crazy, man.
Shout out to Leon picking, Griswold, who wears a hockey jersey the entire movie. I appreciate that, man.
You're welcome.
Bring
That's
it
one
hockey
hockey
in.
reference that you can have in there. The only line that CJ knows from that movie is "Fragile." That's the only line he probably knows from that whole movie.
You're trying to tell me that RJ didn't watch A Christmas Story?
No.
And didn't go outside and stick his tongue on a pole?
No. That's why I always have a friend as dumb as Steve to go do that.
Dude, that AR-15 on your cup is a Remington BB gun, man.
There you go, baby.
It's your red rifle.
Yeah.
Well, so guys, if you are watching this episode, or actually, I guess you can't watch it. If you're listening to this episode and Part of the Disruption channel on YouTube's not working anymore, be rest assured we will start a new YouTube channel because RJ just got us canceled.
Thanks, RJ. We appreciate your hard work. So here's the thing I'm going to tell y'all. Everybody had a good answer. Elf, I don't know. It's like the least favorite around my house. But I will give Steve props for Die Hard. It did happen on Christmas Eve. That being fun. That being said, this one was a question in good fun. I'm going to go ahead and give everybody a point. Again, it's the Christmas spirit. Okay, RJ's face tells me he doesn't want his point. So I'll go ahead and give that to somebody else. Home Alone 2, Lost in Dallas, Fort Worth over there. All right. We have question number 5. This has never been a more important question number 5. Look at how close the scoreboard is. I'm going to need a lot of Christmas cheer on this one. All right. If you could be gifted a trip to anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? Start us off, Leon.
It's a hard one to answer. Been very blessed to travel. I love travel, enjoy it. But there's so many options to choose from. In fact, I needed a little help from Mr. Google on this one. I was like, where haven't I been that I really, really want to go to? And most of the locations were European locations, and mainly because I do love history, and I'm not someone that necessarily loves to sit around a beach all day or in the pool all day. That's just not my thing. I like to relax, but I want to do something and be active during the day. And if I'm going to do that, I like history. So for me, more than likely, it would be somewhere in Italy, Greece, or even Egypt, somewhere like that. So I don't know a specific place, but in one of those countries.
Awesome. That sounds legit, Leon. All right. Next up, Steve, where are you traveling?
So I don't know exactly where they put all the classified secrets, if it's in the Pentagon or where exactly in Washington, D.C., if it is in D.C., but wherever it is, I want to be in that room. Just give me a week in one of those rooms. So I could just read all the classified stuff. So, we can just figure out all the different conspiracies. That's where I would have the most fun. Just getting to learn all the deep secrets that are hidden from all of us ordinary citizens. That is where I would want to vacation for a week.
Steve is truly undefeated in PTD history when it comes to this. All right, CJ, you're being gifted a trip. Where are you headed?
Dude, the Pentagon is such a crazy answer, man.
The serial killer answer.
Dude, shout out to Steven, man. That's a crazy answer. I'm going to Africa, man. I want to go to Africa. I've had a couple opportunities to go, and it just didn't work out for one reason or another. I definitely would go to Africa, spend some real time there. I'm a Black American, right? I don't know my history. I past this country, right? I don't know anything about it. So like to be able to touch that soil, to be able to feel that energy, that experience, would be beautiful, would be amazing. That would be where I would go for sure.
There we go. All right. RJ, where are you going besides the Nordic?
I'm going back to the motherland, baby. I want to go to all of Scandinavia. Unlike CJ says I'll go to a continent, the largest continent. Like I'll just go to 56 different countries. Thank you for being so specific there, CJ. I want to start in Finland, then go to Sweden, then go to the mountains in Norway, and then go to Iceland and finish in the Faroe Islands, which if you've never checked out the Faroe Islands before, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's literally one of the most remote locations on the planet. I would love to spend time there and just enjoy what this world can actually create. I mean, it's amazing to see what it looks like in the Faroe Islands. So Scandinavia is my answer.
So I would like to add on top of all this, I would like to put CJ in Portland, Oregon. I think the whitest city in the world, right? I think that would be fun to witness. I like to put RJ maybe in, is it Venezuela or maybe Cuba, right? Because he's such a socialist. I like to put RJ in a socialist environment, so he actually knows what socialism is before he spouts it at all times.
Look at our scoreboard. We know what socialism is.
All right, RJ's not winning today.
And you know what? I'd have Leon visit me. We just play some basketball. We'd have some fun. We just hang out.
Is that when you're at the Pentagon?
Nice. That's a very nice answer there, Steve.
To be
question
clear
to all of you is, why are we not doing this? Like, you all have the means to be able to go to these places. Why?
I can't go to the Pentagon.
Well,
what are you talking about?
We're not resting on holidays. To be clear,
this will be another insurrection if I go to Pentagon.
For scoring purposes and clarity. All right, RJ, I don't have the benefit of saying a country, right? Because if you go read a history book, right, there's no way for me to actually identify what country my ancestors came from. I'm not going to teach that lesson today.
Hold on.
It's historical fact.
Hold on. Don't come at me with that.
No,
don't
I'm not.
Come at me like you said, I want to go to where I came from.
Slow down. Relax. I'm just responding to your response as to why I have to say a continent. I can't say a country. That's all.
bro.
It's the truth. It's the truth. It's the harsh truth of America, but it is the truth.
It is the truth. But the question here is, if you were gifted anywhere in the world and your answer was a continent, so you are literally going to go through the entire continent?
Nah, you know what would be dope? You just drop me somewhere over there, bro. Let me figure it out.
Madagascar. Now what?
Enlighten me, CJ.
What's up?
The 23andMe. That doesn't give you the.
It does give you a region. So, for instance, like we were talking about this pre-show, I'm 51% North African. So you can identify that my ancestors came from Algeria and Morocco, right? So I can identify those two countries within the continent of Africa. So you can, through Ancestry or 23andMe, get that lineage. What he cannot get, when he's actually factually true historically, he could not get through census or any public data of where his ancestors came from, but he can get that through DNA.
Although I think with last week's episode where we talk about CJ and his white privilege, I think he does belong in Portland.
Nah. I got black privilege, man. I had to earn it.
I just want to know that after Steve's answer being so bad, why we even allowed him to talk in this 2-minute debate.
No one wants to know all the government secrets. Seriously, I'm the only one.
You know why we do that? Because sometimes Steve has very questionable answers. Like almost to a serial killer level. Like the dude wants to go to the Pentagon for a gifted trip, so we don't question serial killers. We just let them be.
Is that why you're friends with him? Because you're obsessed with serial killers?
Absolutely. I'm just a case study this entire time.
Leon just likes to keep an eye on Steve.
Nah, Pentagon is just such a. Dude, could you just see Steve in the Pentagon library just digging through?
He would nerd out. Oh my gosh, he would be like a pig in crap. He would absolutely love it. I mean, turning over books, tables, the whole nine.
Steve wouldn't know nothing
John
about
Nash, beautiful mind with all the thumbtacks and the yarn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nah, Steve would just have Chat GPT and AI just copying everything. Redacted.
Hey, I'm sacrificing my vacation for you guys. This is for you guys.
I like how, Steve's such a giver. So here's the deal. As the chat has said, 420 Steven is definitely back. We're gonna go ahead and give that round to Mr. Pentagon himself over there. Don't get us canceled, YouTube. But here we go. No, RJ, I already told you. I swear I'll take your points and redistribute them right now. This is gonna be a gag order, but I'm gonna say this. You're gonna shoot your eye out is one of the greatest lines ever.
Come on, man.
A Christmas movie.
Come on, man.
So off the tiebreaker.
I don't watch that.
You better calm down, Leon. Off the tiebreaker. We got CJ winning our last show before Christmas.
RJ, that's how you call your shot, baby. That's how you call your shot.
Well, RJ called the shot. He said he was going to lose by attacking the judge.
I can't help the fact that I am standing up for our audience and for myself and for my team. Potter's judging is pathetic. It is terrible.
Hey, I don't want to hear any more from you. You're not gonna win until the summer equinox if you don't calm down.
I just hope that
Steve Trang.
I just hope that RJ, can take some time to rest. This weekend. I hope I don't see an RJ Bates Facebook group post. I hope I don't see a clip circulating from this guy with his face on it. I just hope he just takes, like 3 hours. All right. Sits everybody down, grabs that eggnog, gets a nice thick eggnog, right?
In his blue leisure suit.
Yeah, and get his Lee Dungaree suit and takes a seat and watches A Christmas Story and just sees the beauty in a classic movie, classic story. Because I feel like RJ could identify a lot with young Ralphie, man. I really do.
Young Ralphie's where it's at. All right. Everybody, we enjoy you tuning in. We do it for the viewers, and a little bit for our sanity, and also to drive RJ nuts. That's why we always show up every Thursday. We really enjoyed the show. We're gonna go ahead and do some outros. We'll go ahead and start with our champion today. CJ, say bye to the people.
Man, what a year on PTD. I think at this point I got most wins in PTD history. Setting records is crazy, but it's just what we do over here. Bye to the people. I hope everybody has happy holidays. I hope you do whatever it is that you do, whether it's watch Die Hard, Christmas Vacation. I can't remember what weird movie RJ said, but whatever it is that you do, man, have a good time with your friends, your family. Take a little bit of time off, man. Enjoy yourself. We'll see you next time. Much love.
CJ is like young Potter. He likes having both records. All right,
Yeah,
RJ.
no doubt.
All right, RJ, say bye to the people.
I just want to give a quick recap of what our champion did today. Okay. He said, if you're to get into real estate in 2024, just bird dog everything. Okay. Then his reaction to Michael Pittman's hit is just to repeat my answer. And then Christmas movie, he said A Christmas Story because he clearly has never watched an actual Christmas movie. And then if he could go anywhere in the world, specifically, he said, I'll go to the largest continent. A continent, not a country, not a city, a continent. He's just going to buy a plane ticket to Africa. That's our champion, people. Merry Christmas, everybody, especially you, Steve. Not you, Potter.
Thanks, RJ. I see that you're lining yourself up for the next show. Wonderful. Appreciate you. All right, Leon, say bye to the people.
Not to mention, RJ, to add to that, our champion also disabled everyone's microphone during my first answer on the show. We may have forgotten that was sabotaged by our champion. So we'll go to the review and look at that at another time. In the meantime, I feel very blessed to be a part of this show with you guys. For all those that watch and give all the great feedback, how much they love this show that we do on a weekly basis. And I'm excited to see what the future holds, not only for the show, but for my RJ Bates starter kit that I've got going on here. It'll take a good 500 days for me to even get close to that, but I'm willing to wait as long as America is as well.
I think this is a job for AI where we can speed it up and see what it looks like. Let's do that. Let's do that for promos next week. I like it. All right. Last, certainly not least, Steve, go ahead and say bye to the people.
Yeah, it's been a great year. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for everyone that subscribed, listening, participating. I'm really grateful for all of that. It was a fun show. I don't think CJ was the rightful winner, but that's whatever. It's neither here nor there. I think the judging is kind of suspect, but whatever. Merry Christmas. And then Rogaine, we are looking for sponsors. So if you like Leon and Steve to do one of those Ryan Pineda specials, just reach out, steve@disruptors.com, and we're happy for sponsorships. Thank you everyone, and have a Merry Christmas.
Actually, just real quick update, minoxidil, that's steve@closemoresales.com.
Steve at Close Marcel.
Has Steve started growing the beard too, like Leon?
Look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks worth of growth right there.
Yeah, he's got 3 whiskers. They're
this is
suspect.
after No Shave November.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have to get you just for men.
Those are the results of No Shave 23. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. We hope that everybody has a Merry Christmas.